How's it going, everyone? College Lefty, and in this video I went undefeated 10-0 in an all Madden season, so let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm also going to include a couple of clips from some squads games just because I happen to like that mode. I usually play with just random people where I'll either control the offense or the defense. I have a 90 overall team at this current moment, but at the time of recording some of these videos, my offense is probably at an 88 and my defense at around an 89. But we are going to include some clips from the All Madden season, as well as a few squads games. I was mixing up a variety of players, trying out a few different quarterbacks, trying out a few different wide receivers. I recently picked up Megatron. I also have picked up, Terrell Suggs, a couple defensive guys. Stephon Gilmore no longer plays on my team, but I do have Charles Woodson, and I have made a few upgrades in that regard. And throughout this video, you are going to see Larry Fitzgerald in action on that C route. A lot of opponents have a tough time defending that C route, and a lot of people go to these corner routes, different types of corner routes. The outside routes are pretty effective, but also, the inside routes are really good with short and elite, stuff like that. So I have mixed up my abilities. I've mixed up my players quite a bit recently. I'm no longer using Michael Vick. I actually sold Lamar Jackson for like 1.3 million and then bought him back for about 900,000 coins. So I have been making a few decisions to try and build my team. I've spent a good amount of money on this year's game, but I'm also now trying to kind of manage my coins, use the coins to make more. Recently, the market has kind of crashed a little bit, so I have picked up a few players. Some of these clips you'll see that Eric Dickerson does have, some huge pads in this video, and they kind of updated and adjusted some of the player types in that stuff. He was causing some glitches to happen in the game. They have fixed that. But at certain points in time, I bought and sold him a few times. I probably made 100,000 coins just off of that card. Specifically, as you can see in this current lineup, we're using Cordero Patterson and DeMarco Murray, two really good running backs. I do have a 40 out of 40 Legends theme team, and I'm using some of the power-up players, some lower overall cards, just to get that chemistry boost. But so far, my favorite defensive card is probably this Cam Chancellor, as well as Nolan Cromwell. Cromwell's a really good user. The card plays really well. He's the only safety that has, 90 man coverage. Him and Rod Woodson, as far as the two guys you want to use if you're using, a man blitz scheme. We're going to get into a squads game right here. I matched up with this Cool Breeze guy, and I actually played a couple of games with this same player. But check out Dave Casper on this play. He's just fighting for extra yards. That guy's trying to throw a block there. We end up scoring on a crazy broken play. But I'm also running the read option here with Lamar Jackson. And this is one of the reasons why this Lamar Jackson is going to be the best quarterback in the game for probably a little while, until they come out with another quarterback that gets, set feet lead with maybe Slinger 1 release. Maybe someone like Aaron Rodgers. I think Brett Favre is in the game this year. However, he did get into some legal trouble recently. But I'm going to be using this Lamar Jackson for quite a while, just because, look at this. This guy will absolutely torch your defense in every possible way. Throwing ability, running ability, just scrambling, extending the play just a little bit. Even though this year it is tougher to run around with the quarterback. But there's another C route play to Larry Fitzgerald. Here's going to be, what looks like could be a replay. It's another touchdown. Sometimes the opponents just have a tough time guarding it, and it takes them a little bit to adjust. They might not know how to adjust. I don't necessarily know how to guard this in the best ability. But with that said, sometimes people with man abilities, or I guess deep out elite, will guard that pretty well. Here at the end of the first half, we're trying to go deep, and I got a one-on-one matchup there with Randy Moss. I figured I would just huck it up and hopefully make a tackle if he intercepts it, but we end up taking it for 6 points. Now here in this next squads game, these opponents were not very good at all. These opponents are going to quit. I should say my teammates. My teammates were actually my opponents in this squads game. They were making the team play much worse. I'm trying to play defense, and they're messing up the defense, not playing their man or not playing their zone. And it's tough sometimes, right? I don't expect them to be perfect out there, but at least, do something in terms of trying to cover somebody. But after they quit, I was down 16-0. I was able to make a comeback. We're up by 1 point now after they kind of threw the game away before halftime. I was able to make the game a lot closer. But we're now up by 8 points here with 1:20. I'm kind of just running the clock out. I'm in field goal range right now. And look at Dickerson. I mean, he doesn't have these pads anymore. They have adjusted that, but that guy is an absolute tank out there for only being, what, 220 something in the game. But here in this next one, we're back to playing all Madden seasons. We face Justin Herbert right here, and I have tried this card out just because he gets set beat lead and fearless. But to me, the release is just awful. Fearless doesn't really matter with him because he's probably going to get hit or, sacked or some type of under pressure before he gets the ball off regardless. So I did try out a few guys, use the coins that I made, flipping Lamar Jackson. I probably made a little bit of profit, but ultimately lost some of that profit when, buying and selling cards after tax, just trying a few guys out. That play could have easily been a touchdown right there. Had a kind of a zero coverage man, and I didn't man that tight end up. I was trying to run spinner. The opponent kind of quick hiked the ball, and I didn't really get my adjustment set to man up the correct button because one guy is unguarded on that play. But anyway, in this next game of squads here, the opponents on my team, right, my teammates, which were also my opponents in this matchup, quit as well. So I'm taking on 3 different guys, 3 users. We're down 16 points. These guys were celebrating. I figured I could make a comeback, especially once my teammates quit. If I was able to kind of lock them down on defense just one time, just get one stop, and here it is. They just gave me the ball. I think they were trying to get behind the fullback and lateral it to make something happen, but ultimately they just gave the game away. And then on the following possession, they went for it on 4th down. I kicked a field goal. I get the ball back at halftime and take it for a touchdown. So we took a big-time point swing there, and these opponents, the actual opponents, not my teammates, the real opponents, kind of just threw the game away, essentially. I mean, all they could have done, or all they had to do, was just run the ball out at halftime, go into the half with the lead, play a little bit more conservative. They were just chucking the ball deep, and then they end up quitting. All 3 of them just end up quitting. So I actually gave 5 people a loss out of the 6 people that were playing, right? 2 of my teammates quit, and then gave the other 3 guys a loss there. But to wrap this video up, we're running another read option here with Lamar Jackson. You definitely cannot do this with Aaron Rodgers. I tried it. I was only able to get like 1 touchdown, break away 1 play with Aaron Rodgers. I still like using Aaron Rodgers. I used him a little bit throughout my All Madden season, Super Bowl, and undefeated run. But ultimately, Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick, and then maybe Fitzpatrick, Aaron Rodgers, some of those guys I would rank ahead of Herbert and some of the other options that I in fact tried out, but just didn't include some of the gameplay in this video. But that's going to do it for this one. I'm College Lefty, and hopefully you enjoyed some of my Madden 23 highlights. Until next time, peace out.
There goes Larry Fitzgerald. Touchdown, Packers.